Weight loss stories have featured on my show many times in the past, but when you meet my guest tonight, you'll soon see that there's far more to Zach's story than losing a few pounds, and he joins me right now. Zach, thank you very much indeed for coming onto the programme tonight.
No worries, thanks very much.
A huge part of your story surrounds your mum, Julie, a functioning alcoholic. How long ago did you discover that your mum had a problem with alcohol?
Well, it's been 2 years since she passed away, but 2 years prior to that I knew that she was drinking secretly.
Right, you were aware of that, were you?
Yeah, fully aware of it. She couldn't really hide much from me.
Right, and around the same time you've been making a few changes to your own lifestyle, I believe.
Yeah, I just got out of a bad relationship and I moved back in with my parents, and I was weighing 23 stone. And I needed to do something about it. I needed a new me, so I hit the gym, cut my diet drastically, and I dropped down to 17 stone within about 3 or 4 months.
How good did that feel at that time when you lost that amount of weight?
I felt phenomenal. I mean, I got back down to 17 stone. I got back with an ex-partner that I'd been waiting to do for a long time, and I felt really good about myself.
All right. So, as I say, a good time personally for you, and quite pleased with yourself.
Yeah. Things are progressing really well. I got myself a new house, got moved out, and then that's when my mum started to fall ill when I moved out, so I couldn't really keep an eye on her with things, or I didn't see her as much as I should have done.
How did you find out what your mum was going through?
And my brother gave me a call, and I called up, and she couldn't stand up. She couldn't answer the door. Just heard her screaming to me, my brother to answer the door for her. And at the time, I got quite overwhelmed with it, so I just stormed off home because I thought she was just. I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know what was going on. And I think it was a week or so later, she was still really, really ill, and the door was unlocked, so I could actually go in. And I went upstairs, and she was laid in bed. The fans were blaring, and the room smelled horrible. And I turned the lights on, and her skin was yellow, her eyes were yellow, and her stomach was bloated. So I knew that were her liver and fluids around her organs. I don't know much about anything like that, but it was pretty obvious. I know what was happening. And
what was your reaction to her? What were you saying, and what was she coming back with?
She couldn't really talk. She was disorientated for being ill, and I don't know what it was. I just know that when your liver packs down, everything starts to. It's like, it just confuses her. She was really confused. She didn't know what was happening. She was there slightly. I could talk to her. But even she was saying it's nothing to do with drink. It's nothing to do with drink. And I called the doctor to send out a first responder, a paramedic.
Yeah.
They came to have a look at her, and they rung for an ambulance straight away. The ambulance came. We had to carry her downstairs on a stretcher seat. I don't know what it's called. We wheeled her into ambulance, and my dad was stood at the door, and I had to go to the paramedics, and I told him, she's been secret drinking, and I know what it is. Her eyes are yellow, she's got jaundice, it's liver failure, her liver's packed in. And my dad didn't believe it. He didn't believe anything about it, neither did my brother, but I was adamant I know exactly what it was.
Why didn't they believe it, your dad and your brother?
I think it was just because they were living with her for that long, and she did have quite a few illnesses where she had spinal arthritis, and she kept falling over all the time. It affected her balance. She wasn't very stable with her feet, and she's always been poorly. So it was just, they were oblivious to it. Well,
do you think she was like most functioning alcoholics, hiding her alcohol addiction from those very close to her?
Yeah, she used to sleep downstairs out of the way from everybody. Like, she used the excuse of her back being painful, that she had to sleep on a hard surface, so she used to sleep on the floor, out of the way, so she could drink in the morning without my dad being there, and through the night without my dad being there, 'cause my dad slept upstairs in the bed properly, and my mum couldn't sleep in the bed, it was too soft because of her back, so she could drink secretly, and I knew she was doing it, because when I come in from work or in the morning, I could smell it on her, it was vodka. But I've got a keen nose, I could smell it, and now she talked, I knew she'd had a drink. But no matter what you told her, she wouldn't listen.
Did you ever get to the bottom of why she was drinking?
From what I thought, it's my granddad passed away from exactly the same, from drinking. And she never got over the fact of that she lost her granddad.
Right.
She never got over that. pain from her spinal arthritis. She was on medication after medication, and it still wouldn't work. So she turned to the drink to try and cope with it all. And again, it didn't work, so she'd drink more. It didn't work, she'd drink more, just to try and make herself feel better and trying to be normal, because she was in really bad pain for years and years.
Was she receptive to offers of help from anyone?
Nobody. She was quite a strong woman. She was really strong and stubborn in her own way. She was too proud. She didn't want any help. She just wanted to battle it herself. She was a really strong woman.
Right. And whilst all this was going on with your mum, how about your own health?
I'd started losing weight. I've never been so fit. I could actually run. I could fit into clothes that I didn't fit in since I was in school. I was doing really well. And then obviously my mum got admitted to hospital, and I took a back seat on my training to try and concentrate on spending as much time as I could with her, because I knew the inevitable were coming.
Well, let's talk about that if we can. I know it's something that's very obviously close to you, but it came to a head a couple of years ago when you found your mum in that poor state. What was running through your mind when you saw her like that?
It was just like a nightmare. It didn't seem real. Tried to convince myself that she'd survive. She's strong. She's a lot stronger. She looked like she was getting better, and then just all of a sudden, everything. The doctors give my father the possessions to bring back home. My dad gave her a fairy, and he told her that I want you to bring this home with you. And then the fairy came home without her. And that's what, because she collected fairies. She liked gothic stuff and fairies and witches and everything weird and wonderful like that. She was quite a hippie kind of person. And the doctors gave the fairy back to bring back, and that's when it hit home. And bringing her bag back that I knew she wasn't coming back.
Zach, let's just catch our breath for a second if we can. I think it's a good time to do that. We'll talk some more in a few moments' time. We'll talk about your life today and how life has changed for you. And we'll talk about that in a few moments' time on Late Night Graham Torrington. My guest this evening is Zach, who's changed his lifestyle and lost a lot of weight. And a lot of it is to do with what's been going on in his own personal life. So we were talking about your mum, Julie, a few moments ago. Sadly, your mum lost her battle with alcohol in June 2014. You knew that it was something that was likely going to happen. When it does happen, can you ever prepare yourself for something like that?
You could try. Well, everybody deals with it differently. My brother and my dad kind of just put it on the back burner and tried to ignore it and just got on with life. Myself, being quite a big guy, I am quite sensitive. It's like a big friendly giant, and I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm not scared to show my emotions. If I'm upset and it's worth crying about, I'll cry. And I was in pieces for days and days and days, trying to cope with it and get it out. And at the time I was working for Aldi, and I just couldn't work. I couldn't concentrate. I just wanted to be with him, just wanted to try and get my head around it, and it just wouldn't work.
Because of that, your own health suffered as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I've still tried to go to the gym, but I just couldn't concentrate. I went for a month, and I just looked in the mirror and thought, what's the point? What is the point? I just lost interest in everything. I couldn't find joy in anything at all. Nothing could entertain me. I stopped playing video games, stopped going to the gym. I just wanted to crawl under a rock and hide.
And this is when the unhealthy eating kicked in as well?
Yeah, binge eating, takeaways, cookies, about 5 to 6 cans of energy drink a day. Just rubbish, total rubbish.
You mentioned your partner. Could they see what was happening to you?
She just tried to support me as much as possible. At the time, I didn't really pile it on that quick, but eventually it did creep up. It did creep up quite a lot when I was walking. I was out of breath. I couldn't even walk upstairs without panting. I didn't really see the change in myself. I still saw myself as that 17-stone spring chicken. I didn't really see that I turned back into a monster again.
Right. But you did one day because you saw a picture of yourself.
Yeah, I stopped fitting into clothes that I used to fit into, and I saw on the Facebook option on Time Hop, it came up with my weight and a picture of myself this time 2 years ago, and I realised that I'd let myself go a lot. And then talking with my partner at the time, she encouraged me that I'd need to do something about myself again. It's not healthy. She was just looking out for me, and as a good partner does, she just told me that I need to get myself back to where I was again and get back on top of things.
And that's not an easy thing to do, but you've achieved it, haven't you?
Yeah, I got family to support me, and I finally got my head pulled out and realised you only live once, so try and make a difference the best you can. Try and make a difference and inspire others to do so. It's not all doom and gloom. You can drag yourself back. You just need to work at it and persevere.
Yeah, just tell me what you've been putting yourself through over the last few months.
Well, it was the 2 years anniversary of my mother's death about 27 days ago, I believe, or about that many days ago.
Right.
And my friend, who was a strongman, who was is a big guy, he recommended that I entered a strongman competition because it's something that I've always felt I would like to do, but I've never felt confident enough or big enough to do.
Right.
And I've entered the competition. It's a Sheffield Strongest novice at the Titanium Strength Gym in Sheffield. I went through to talk to the guys, and it's just full of gorillas. Everybody there is monstrous. And they're really fit. You won't believe the size of them, like 25 stone, 26 stone, but they're like athletic. They're really fit. And I thought I could do this in honour of my mum. I could challenge myself and use my mother and my family as fire, and then I can't fail because I feel like I'd be letting her down. I couldn't fail. Can't fail.
So where are we right now then with your health and your fitness?
Yeah, well, we're on day 28, so I'm just editing my vlog. I'm vlogging myself for YouTube. Day 28, I've put on a stone and a bit within a couple of weeks. And if I don't eat for a day or two, I lose it just as quick because my metabolism's that fired. It's getting nutrients every 2 hours. I've got protein shakes. I've got vitamins to make sure I'm getting enough into me. 6,000 calories a day, training 2 to 3 hours a day just to get to where I need to be. These guys, they put in a lot of effort to get to where they need to be.
And really how are you feeling, Zach, in yourself?
Tired. Really tired, and I'm fed up of eating. It's hard work, but I've never felt as... I've got a lot of people backing me and a lot of support, and I've never felt so good about myself.
You're obviously going for Britain's Strongest Man. Is that achievable?
Anything's achievable as long as you've got the right fuel, the right support, and the right food. That you just need to train, and mentally it is really hard. But I've got a strong mind and I've got a lot of fuel behind me, and I can really push for it. It's going to take years to get there, but I will get there.
And there's a Facebook page that people can follow your journey. Maybe you'd like to mention that.
Facebook page, if you type in on Facebook app, Strongman UK 2016. There is also a GoFundMe page for sponsorship. It's gofundme.com/Zach Perry. And I'm also on YouTube vlogging my journey, so if anybody wants to follow me and see what it takes to become where you need to be, I'm on YouTube. Just type in Strongman UK 2016 vlog, and you'll come up with a video. And
that is fantastic. Well, we'll put a link to that on my Facebook page as well, which is Late Night Graham Torrington. So if anybody wants to check it out, they can follow the links from there as well. Zach, it's just brilliant what you're doing. And what do you think your mum would say about you?
Yeah, she just set me off crying. She'd be really proud. She were always proud and supported me in everything I did, every decision, everything. Things that I shouldn't tell her, I told her. She was my best friend. That's everything. I told her everything. And when I lost her, I lost my best friend as well as my mother.
Well, Zach, she'll be there, willing you on all the way. Thank you very much indeed for joining me on the programme, and I wish you all the best.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.